if you talk to people in a particular way, they'll lose interest in you and clear off down there. But if you talk in another way, they'll become your supporters. So you can see that it's typical of organizational thinking in this linear form. The problem with non-linear relationships or models is that it's very difficult to predict anything from them. To some of them you can get a probabilistic prediction from, but scientists, particularly physicists and classical economists, don't want probabilities, they want certainties. But the consequence, for example, is that you wouldn't split change and stability or continuity and ignore continuity over there and focus all your attention on change. Now, I think what traditional organizational thinking does is establish dualities, and then you have to choose one dual over the other. Paradox, on the other hand, says you can't split the instability of change from the stability of tradition and continuity, that the two exist at the same time. And for me, that's my experience. So what I'm trying to do all the time is to make sense of what I think we're actually doing, what I experience us to be actually doing in organizations, not what we're supposed to be doing or what we should be doing, because that in itself is a kind of split about, we'll think about the future, that's what matters, and we won't pay attention much to what we're actually getting up to. Now, I would again want to think in terms of a paradox where the future is arising in our present activity, and therefore understanding our present activity and its relation to the future and the past would be the paradoxical way of thinking about it. The implication of moving to this idea of something being stable instability is we would have to think of change and continuity occurring at the same time, but gradually evolving. So we live in a world of human beings now. I'll move from nature and talk about human beings. Live in a world of habit. But the habits, the habitual practices, the habitus, the world of habit we live in, always has to be made relevant to the specific context that we're in. So we have to keep adjusting our habitual behavior to particular contexts. Just to think of an example, we asked that the numbers coming to this session be kept fairly small, in a reasonably small circle, because that's habitually how we would try to do this kind of work. And of course we get here and there's a very big circle, so okay, you've got to change your habitual way of doing it to something else. And then a number of other people also arrived with chairs, so it got bigger and bigger, and that required, but it's still a recognizable seminar situation. It just requires slight adjustments in how we're going to go on together in the thing. So that's the first consequence, that how would we think about evolving tradition, that change is evolving tradition. Because of course if everything changed all the time, we would fall apart. We wouldn't know what to do. So it can't change all the time. And I would question the increasing obsession that we've come to have with change, and it's very appropriate to do that here with you, because all the time everything's got to change. We talk as if everything's got to change, and not only change, it's got to get better, it's got to improve. We must constantly improve. Well, is that realistic? Can we continually do this? Or are we driving ourselves mad as we struggle ever more and then discover it doesn't improve? And this is very clear to me. If you take something like a beloved institution in the United Kingdom, which is the National Health Service, they keep changing it, they keep saying they're going to improve it, and all they do is make it worse.